Okay, welcome everyone to our weekly press conference with head coach David Shaw. As a reminder, when we get to the questions portion, to please use the raise hand function and I will call on you. Coach, if you'll start us off with an opening statement.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. First, the important things. Branson Bragg announced his retirement yesterday. Couldn't be more proud of him. He's earned so much respect from his teammates, from the coaching staff, from everybody in our program. This young man has a bright future outside of football. He's smart. He's got a great personality. He's a musician. He's a Renaissance man, and football was just part of that for him. He was a leader for us. He's a great football player for us. But honestly, he's got a bright future outside of football, and couldn't be at a better place for him. The opportunities here on campus, the contacts that he's already made and those that he will make. We're excited about what Branson will do in the future. As for the football game, congratulations to USC. They outplayed us, made a lot of plays, took advantage of some of our miscues, and that's what good teams do. For us, the game boils down to turnovers and explosive plays. They won both those battles, and if we can be even or be ahead in those two battles, we'll give ourselves a chance to win against anybody. But you can't give that team that many opportunities. Outstanding quarterback, outstanding receiver, two outstanding receivers really made some big plays. As for our team, I will say this just to counter, and Coach Riley and I are great. But to counter what he said in his post-game press conference, that it was a major miracle that we weren't called for illegal man downfield. We didn't have a single play this game where anyone was blocking down the field on a pass play. So went back through the film again, double checked it. There's one play where one of our guys was right at 3 yards, which is the maximum down the field you can be for an offensive lineman on the pass play. Besides that, we weren't even close. So just throw that out there. We play within the rules. We do the right things, and I will always push back against anybody that says anything differently. Thought we played hard, start to finish. The level of execution at times wasn't where we needed it to be. Offensively, we saw flashes of what we can be. Over 300 yards total offense in the first half. 200 plus for the rushing yardage. First time in a long time we've been there. Missed opportunities in the passing game. That being said, some of the pass interferences, if you count those as yards, that you get to the passing game, maybe you could look at it that way, that we were still decent there. But I thought we missed a couple opportunities. Two tipped interceptions, one back of the end zone, just inches, whether we were in or not. Still haven't seen a good view on that. But it's not our desire to be close. It's our desire to be great. So we're going to continue to work, continue to push. We're just at 1-1. We're not that far off. We're not that far away from where we need to be, but we have to take care of the football. And we have to take advantage of these opportunities when they're presented to us, because we saw a great example of that with USC. We presented them with some opportunities, and they took advantage of them. Second half, thought both defenses really stiffened up. We didn't create as many opportunities in the second half as we did on the offensive side in the first half. Defensively, we got some stops on the defensive side, which were great. Had a nice pass rush towards the end of the game also. Got the quarterback to move off the spot, got a couple of sacks. So I'm expecting that to increase throughout the season and continue to get better there. Besides that, it was a college football game that got away from us, but a lot to build on, a lot to be excited about. Take questions.
Dave.
Yeah, hi, Coach. Just theoretically, like if are you tempted to gamble more on defense to create turnovers on defense, even though you may be more susceptible to the big play, just to kind of win that turnover battle? I mean, does those things kind of, I don't know. Just curious.
Yeah, I don't think you ever put the defense at risk. What you do is you work like crazy. Like turnovers come from a couple things, as my dad always says, tips and overthrows, right? Which means you get pressure on the quarterback, get him to make an errant throw, and the ball's a little high, gets tipped, and it's like our two interceptions that we gave up were on tip passes. So pressure the quarterback to make him make an errant throw, and then the other times they come from hustle and technique. Guys running to the ball, guys ripping at the ball like we do in practice, and getting the ball out. So we're going to count on getting pressure on the quarterback. We're going to count on hustling to the ball and raking at it. And those things will pan out. We're not going to break the structure of the defense. We're not going to do things that put everybody else at risk. But we're going to keep pushing those, and those will pay off for us.
Troy.
Yeah, staying on that side of the ball, haven't had a chance to look at the tape, especially in the second half with the adjustment going to one down lineman and 3 of the edge guys on there. How did that work out overall for you now that you had a chance to check out the tape on that?
It worked out well. It's been part of our package in the past, and I think we've got good personnel right now to utilize that again. And it gives you some variety as far as how you pressure the quarterback, but also how you stunt to handle the run as well. So that's one of the things it does give us some variety, and we've got some guys with some talent that I think lends itself to playing that way. So we'll mix those things in to hopefully keep some offenses guessing and use it as a changeup. But thought it worked well in the second half, and our guys played hard.
Ben.
You kind of touched on this a little bit about your ability to draw pass interference flags. Just talk about how much of that is that somewhat of a part of the game plan, a little bit, where kind of like in basketball where you can look to draw fouls, get the foul line kind of thing. Do you see that as a strength of yours to be able to do that well, even if obviously you're still looking for the completed pass?
Yeah, we're just trying to get the ball completed. The way USC played, they left their boundary corner one-on-one with our receivers, and we're going to take advantage of that. And you give those guys opportunities to make plays. And I think because we have big guys and good football players out there that, you leave a guy on an island, and sometimes that's your best recourse instead of giving up a big play is to grab a hold. So we'll take those as positives, but every intention we have is to complete those balls, in particular those balls that are going down the field.
Harold.
Going back to that slow mesh concept that you guys used, what was it about your personality you thought would make it effective? And then how pleased were you to see, especially the impact on the running game?
Yeah, we've employed different types of RPOs over the years, and like a lot of people have increased our usage of those. That style of RPO really puts a lot of pressure on the defense. They have to make a decision, and we're buying some time for the quarterback to make his decision on whether to pull it or to give it. I think our runners took advantage of that into some nice looks. The quarterback pulled the ball a couple times and got some nice throws. So it's part of our package that we did well, that we can do even better going forward. So I'm excited about it. And I think most importantly, our quarterback has a great feel for it. And I think he's going to do really well.
Troy.
Yeah, building on that, Tanner said something interesting in the game or after the game on Saturday when talking about the slow mesh, and that, now you're reading a lot more post snap, and a lot has been made of how much is placed on the quarterback's plate before the snap and how this offense has run over the last few years or so. But now with the slow mesh, now more decisions are being made post snap. Is that part and parcel of the stripping down to the playbook in a sense, and maybe shifting when many of the quarterback makes decisions either before or after the snap? Is that part of that evolution?
Yeah, it's part of the evolution of college football. And we've always been open to change and open to new ideas and new thoughts. And we'll still have some pre-snap decisions for the quarterback, run and pass. But the RPO world now is a lot of post-snap decisions, creating difficult situations for the defense. And as a staff, we've grown to and adopted some of those things, especially in particular with a quarterback that's got the stature that our quarterback does. He can see over everybody, and he's a great decision maker. He's got a quick release, so he can pull it, and without a lot of windup, he can still throw the ball down the field. So those RPOs with the intermediate throws are great, but now we have the ability with the slow mesh and a couple of things we're doing to have put the defense in a bind and be able to throw the ball down the field as well.
Back to Dave.
Yeah, Coach, I don't know if, with all the weapons that you guys have and kind of the versatility of your offense, I don't know if anybody would have foreseen a tight end reverse. I was just curious about, first of all, what that says about Ben, about his athletic ability, and also just about how creative that you guys can be with an offense with the personnel that you have.
Yeah, we ran 2 reverses during the course of the game. I know the unconventional way to do it is to hand it to a tight end, but Ben's a difference maker. He's a field position changer and has been now for a couple of years. He's just an explosive athlete that we want to make sure that we give the opportunity to touch the ball. And he didn't have a lot of opportunities the first game. This game, we want to make sure we created some to keep people off balance and to get in a 2 tight end, 2 running back look and constrict the defense and then hand the ball around. And you see how fast and explosive this young man can be. Had a couple nice catches in the passing game as well. Handed a reverse to Elijah Higgins as well. Another big, fast, explosive athlete. So for us, we're going to try to continue to find different ways to get the balls to our tight ends and running backs and receivers in space, along with the things that we're doing. So I think we took a step this game. The turnovers just killed us. But like I said, we're at over 400 yards total offense, 300 yards in the first half. It was a good start for us, and we've got to clean up a lot of things. But I think we have a chance to be an exciting offense. We've got a lot of different guys that we can do a lot of different things with.
Ben.
Just a little more on the slow mesh. When did you guys start rolling that out? Because obviously you kept it under wraps until USC game. At what point did you guys know you were going to start implementing that? And just kind of talk about the initial kind of excitement.
So we watched a lot of Wake Forest and give that staff a lot of credit. They've developed something special out there in North Carolina. They're very tight-lipped about what they do and how they do it. And I want to respect that aspect. We watched as much film as we could. Asked a couple of questions out there and got some cryptic answers, as they should. They're protecting their football, protecting what they do, which is great. So we decided to really dive into it and extract those things that we thought fit us, and then worked on it the whole offseason, all the way through spring football. Our guys worked at it on the summer on their own. We came back, spent a lot of time in training camp, because it's a good fit. We believe it's a good fit for us, not just by itself, but in conjunction with the other things that we do. So we saw that against USC, and there's still some more aspects to it that will probably kind of eke out over time, over the season for us. But different route combinations, different types of RPOs, as well as the slow mesh, and our basic running game and our drop back game, and trying to make a lot of those things look similar. So like I said, it's been a fun off season putting all these things together. But now we got to get out there and really make it better than it was last week, and hopefully improve every single week.
Troy.
What could Casey Filkins' role be, certainly in the near future, and whatever EJ Smith's status is for the moment? But what could Casey Filkins' role be, and how much bigger could it potentially get as the season goes along?
Yeah, Casey's a dynamic athlete. He's been outstanding in the return game. Last year before he got injured, was either number 1 or number 2 in punt returns in our conference. He's an exciting return man. You saw him run the ball inside, some run the ball outside, some catch the ball at the backfield. He's a dominant football player in high school coming out of Oregon. So we've known that he's a very, very versatile athlete, and in conjunction with EJ, really thought over time this is going to be one of the best running back combos in America. And we'll see where EJ's help is. But Casey's going to continue to grow and learn. And both these guys are young. They're both juniors, but they're both young. They haven't played a lot of football. And I think their best football is ahead of them. So I think Casey's only going to improve and get better and better and better. He had a good game, but there's some things that he would love to have back. We think both of these guys are really, really good football players and are going to be a big part of our attack moving forward.
Does Casey potentially step to the fore in short yardage situations for the foreseeable future?
I think we have some options there.
John.
Coach, I know one of the topics for you is explosive in the return game and both punt and kickoff returns. I'm just curious, how do you and Coach Alomar select from among running backs, receivers, maybe a certain situation, a defensive back, the folks that return kicks?
Well, I'll talk like a special teams coach. First and foremost, those that catch the ball the best and most consistently. Regardless of what happened the first game, our guys have done a great job catching those deals. So first and foremost, be able to catch those and field those properly. Second of all, kickoff return is a little bit different than punt return, in my opinion. Kickoff return, you got to understand pace. You got to catch the ball, and you can't just catch the ball and run full speed. You got to feel the blocks. You got to set up the blocks, and then when the blocks are happening, you got to know when to hit that fifth gear. Punt return, it's about fielding the ball, making a great decision, fair catch or not, and catching the ball, and typically making at least one guy miss and find the wall. Right, you're gonna have to make one guy miss, so you got to have a little lateral quickness and the ability to get out. And I think that's where Bryce Farrell and Casey have been really good guys there. Mike Wilson's ready to go back there. EJ's been back there as well. And the kickoff return, the guys that have been back there are usually those running backs that have a feel for pace. But I think Bryce Farrell, when he's back there, if he gets a crease too, he's going to be tough to catch. So I think we have a good group of guys that can do those. And, hopefully we start breaking some big ones over the year.
Troy.
Back to Branson Bragg and the news on him for a second. And you mentioned, Renaissance man, musician, getting his degree in math and all these other sorts of things that these wonderful things that he's doing off of the field as well as on the field. Maybe a big picture kind of thing here, but do you get the sense that even now in some and maybe in most corners of college football, having interest outside of the game is still maybe kind of frowned upon a little bit, that you have to be forced to be 100% football all the time? Do you still get that sense, and how do you react to it?
That's a great question. I get more of the sense that we hear some of the recruiting conversations from the guys that we're recruiting, some that are on our team and those that we recruit, that there are coaches out there that say, hey, it's not about school, it's about football. And I think it's a shame. I think it's a travesty. I think it's disrespectful to the people that you recruit. If all you talk about when you recruit people is going to the NFL, then you're disrespecting that young man. You're disrespecting that young person and the things that they can accomplish on this planet. For us, we recruit people to come to Stanford and take advantage of what's here. If they're lucky enough and fortunate enough and athletic enough to go play in the NFL, great. We've had a bunch, right? And we'll continue to have more. But the priority is to bring people to Stanford, get them around all these people on our team, but then all these people that are outside of our locker room, to have these contacts, to have these people that teach them and can mold them and advise them and give them direction outside of football. That's what we're all supposed to be doing. It's still out there. We hear it a bunch. We hear it all the time. And it's a shame. And I look at a young person like Branson Bragg, and thankfully he's here and he's going to get an outstanding degree. He's got a great future. And I feel for some of those other places where they've only focused on football, and when football goes away, they don't have anything to fall back on. Like I said yesterday in the press conference, or Saturday night press conference, we're not going to change our mode. We're going to bring people in here as freshmen. We're going to teach them what to do. We're going to get them experience outside of football. We're going to give them people that can advise them and help them and help them grow and learn, and send them out to the world. as leaders. So proud of Branson. He made a tough decision, but it's the right decision and a great decision. And he's got a bright future.
Dave.
Yeah, Coach, just on Branson, I was just curious if there's anything you could share about maybe conversations that you might have had with him leading up to this, basically about, was this a sudden thing, a decision, or did you guys have an idea that this might be coming? I'm curious if he was willing to maybe wait till like the end of the season and maybe try to come back near the end of the year or anything like that. I'm just kind of wondering about the process.
Yeah, I'll let Branson talk about his own process. I know he had multiple conversations with doctors and with his family. So yeah, I'll let him talk about the process on his own time. He put a nice tweet yesterday that I thought was really very well worded, and but I don't want to get into the details. It's not my news to share.
Ben.
Just kind of thoughts on Andrew Luck, having him back over the weekend. Just kind of curious, any favorite memory or memories of Luck that particularly stand out from your time with him?
Oh gosh, this press conference isn't long enough. But great to have him back, and a lot of his teammates, a lot of his classmates came back as well to celebrate his induction to the College Football Hall of Fame. Just really exciting. Great to have him back. He just brings a life and an energy. And even though there's always, the popularity, fame, great plays, whatever, he just walks in. He's very open. He's very familiar with everybody. He wants to be Andrew, right? He doesn't want to be this person that people can't approach. He walked around and came to practice the other day and shook as many hands as he could, just so people can look him in the face and say, yes, I'm Andrew. Like, you can come talk to me. You can ask me questions. And that's just how he is. So he just brings a fresh air, just being around him. As far as favorite memories go, there's just, the list is too long. But a lot of them have to do with watching him grow and become the great player that we all saw him be, the great leader that we saw him be, but also maintain that humility, maintain being a great teammate, as one of the most important things to Andrew was to be a great teammate. Yes, to be a leader, but to be a great teammate. And that's part of the legacy that he left here.
Troy.
How does David Shaw spend his bye Saturday? Does he spend it on the couch? Does he invite the fellas over for a big cookout? Does he hang out with family? What's on his plate for bye Saturday?
Well, my son's got a football game, so I'll be at his game. Probably watch some college football Saturday after that game. I like to be really mellow on the bye weeks, especially early bye weeks, and I push the coaches as well. After this bye week, we got 10 straight. We can't wear ourselves out on this bye week. We need to relax. We need to get some sleep, because we start on Monday after the bye week. It's 10 straight weeks of hopefully outstanding Stanford football. So we need to be fresh and ready to go.
10.
Coach, I hope you can hear me, but Troy kind of stole my question, but I want to know, as we all have, I think those of us who have had kids, how hard is it for you to watch your son's games sometimes? Is that as hard as watching your team play, or is it harder?
I'll say it's different because I'm watching it. I'm trying not to watch it as a coach. I watch it as a dad. I root for him. I'm excited for him. When he wants my advice, he asks for it. Every once in a while I give it when it's not asked for. But for the most part, I just want to watch him and his friends go out and play and have fun. And it's just one of those things that just makes me proud as a parent. Anytime I watch any of my kids just do any activity, sports or not, just proud of the people that they've become. And I try not to, and I'm not anxious or nervous or anything. I just, they love to do what they do. And my son loves to play football. So I just want to go out there and watch him express himself as an athlete.
John.
I'll Andy in on this topic too, Coach. Now that your son is drawing attention and is entering that 18 to 22 year range where a lot can happen, a lot of, whether athlete or otherwise. Is that giving you a new perspective on, recruiting in any way?
Oh, there's no question about it. The last few years has been strange to have teenagers in my house and recruit teenagers and know all the things that our young people have to deal with social media and school and sports and outside pressures. So yeah, it's given me a different perspective, and I've commiserated with some of the parents of the young man that I'm recruiting. It's interesting being a recruiter and a dad for the same age of people. So it's a different world than we grew up in. And I think we need to understand this world as much as possible and how much this world has affected our young people, including, a couple of years of COVID issues. So yeah, I think it's made all of us a little bit more comprehensive in our understanding of the young people that we're recruiting.
Dave.
Yeah, Coach, just about Andrew again. He doesn't speak in public very often, but when he does, it's always just incredible to hear what he has to say. And he's so, his thanks to the Stanford fans, and then his bringing up the women Hall of Fame inductees. I always feel like, whenever you hear these things, are you just like really proud? Like, does it anything like that surprise you? Because he always just comes across so respectful and Stanford always is, in the front of everything that he says. And then the last thing also is, like, if you have a kid in high school, what would it be like when his history teacher is Mr. Luck?
Well, the first part first. I'm not a parent to any of our players, but I do see myself as a mentor, and there's just an immense sense of pride when any of our guys speak. When Andrew speaks, and Christian McCaffrey, and Dalton Schultz, and Zach Ertz, and Bryce Love, and all of these guys, when you see them get in front of the camera, that we're just a part of the growth and maturity that these young men display. Andrew in particular has a very great global view of things, and it's not narrow, it's very expansive. And for him to talk about the all-female class, and he's married to a Stanford athlete, former Stanford athlete, and he's the father of daughters, which everybody saw those pictures this weekend. So he's one of the biggest proponents of women's sports, and knows how important that has been here at Stanford, and the influence I think that Stanford has had on other places. For us to be sitting here with all of these varsity sports, where so many places minimize their sports, and for us to say, we want as many people as possible, in particular our female athletes, to have opportunities to compete and excel while they're getting their Stanford degrees. So on any topic, Andrew does take that 10,000-foot view and can really lend credence to those things that are important.
Ben.
Yeah, stay on top of women's sports. Just, Tar got inducted into the Hall of Fame on Friday. Just talk a little about the relationship you've developed with her and what it's like been getting to know her and getting her perspective as a coach, and being around somebody who is an all-time great in her sport.
Yeah, I mean, she's already in the NBA Hall of Fame, and going in our Hall of Fame. She should be in every Hall of Fame, or not the NBA, excuse me, the Hall of Fame from her time with the Olympic team, and what she's done for women's sports, let alone women's basketball. She should be in every Hall of Fame that we can fit her in. Her influence on her players, her influence on the sports, being outspoken when it's time to be outspoken. She brings so much attention to those things that are important, in gender equality, and in the financial sense, and the opportunity sense. And then she's just one hell of a basketball coach too. And to watch her over the decades tweak and change and grow and learn, and mold the team into championship caliber, no matter what the strengths of the team are at that time. She's just special. She's one of a kind, and you know, I'm very fortunate to call her my friend.
Troy.
Real quick, one personnel thing to circle back on from USC. Caillou Blue Kelly was in and out in the second quarter. I believe he played much of the second half. Anything behind that? Anything to that?
No. And that's going to be something we do going forward. We have to roll our guys. I don't know how many snaps we played on the defensive side. It was a lot. So we knew going into it. Salim Turner Muhammad had a great training camp. So we were going to roll him in at each corner position. So Caillou came out and he went back in there, and then Salim came in for Ethan Bonner. Ethan Bonner came out and he went back in. You know, Jimmy Wyrick came in and spent some time. So we're going to continue to do that all season because we play a lot of spread teams, a lot of no huddle offenses, and especially if we go a little bit faster like we did this past game, the play counts for everybody go up. We played over 80 snaps on the offensive side this week, so that's something that we're going to have to do consciously. That we do it. We've always done it on the defensive line. We're going to do it with our linebackers. We're going to do it with our secondary. We're not going to pull guys out because they don't make a play. We're going to rotate guys to keep them fresh.
Are there any more questions for Coach? Last one for Ben.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this in real quick. Just any early thoughts on the next two games? You got a road trip coming up against Washington, Oregon. Just any early thoughts on that you want to kind of touch on?
Got to be ready for it to be loud and rainy. That's the biggest deal for us. We're going to concentrate on us this bye week, clean up some things we need to clean up, and get ready for one heck of a stretch of a lot of Pac-12 football in a row. And excited about jumping into some more Pac-12 play and hopefully playing better next week than we played this past week.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, everybody.